As you can see, I'm not alone. Happy to be joined by Brax, who is the very first Valorant player ever signed by a major organization. But let's talk about choosing T1. How did that relationship start? How long ago were you talking with T1 to sign with them?
I think the talks went on for maybe a week or two, but they went really smooth. T1's a legendary esports organization with incredible history behind them. Um, they're like a global organization that represents some of the best players in the world, so I'm just happy to be a part of that. I will say T1 was the first org to reach out to me since I announced that I would be making the switch. But they weren't the only org. I'm not gonna say names just out of like respect and stuff, but there's probably three or four other top tier one organizations that
How difficult was the decision for you?
it actually was a pretty easy decision. The talks went really smooth and it just seemed like a really good fit and it made sense, so I went with it.
Was any of that kind of thing presented to you? Like, did they say, hey, we want you to collab with MKLeo, we want you to collab with Faker? Did any of that come up when you were talking?
Actually, yeah, it was definitely brought up. There's always the chance that I will go to Korea and, do content with Faker and the other guys. So, I'm definitely looking forward.
In the tweet, it says from T1, it says T1 is excited to welcome Brax to the team as a creator and professional for Valorant, CSGO, and FPS titles. Of course, the Valorant part is going to get most of the headlines, right? But what can you tell us what the full arrangement is? Like, what will a day look like for you, and what is expected of you, I guess, from T1?
Well, basically, we don't really know when the game is coming out, right? So until we do know, or until I can get my hands on it, I'll just be making content for CS, basically CS:GO.
So basically Valorant is the number one priority, and until you can play the game, grind the game, it will be content creation around CS:GO 4T1.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Have you had a chance to play Valorant yet?
I have not actually.
What do you know about the game?
Yeah, I mean, I can't share much, but what I do know is I'm confident that my CS:GO skills will make me good at Valorant, and I think it will benefit CS:GO players the most more than any other game, and so I am confident in that aspect.
Were you reached out at all, or were you hoping to be reached out to be part of that testing group?
Actually, I did get invited to fly to LA to play test it, and then the coronavirus came and fucked
Sure.
everything up, so it got canceled. But I think they will do something online, but I'm not sure. But I'm sure I will get a chance to play test it before it does come out, so I'm excited.
Fair enough. So the obvious question here is becoming a pro in a game that hasn't come out yet and that you haven't played yet. And you did mention that your skills will be transferable from CS:GO to Valorant, right? Do you have any concern at all that this is sort of uncharted territory, right? Do you feel anxiety at all? At all? Do you feel concerned? That how much did you feel you like improved and learned in the game after having done 10,000 hours? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you still can learn something literally every day. Um, Obviously it gets like tougher and tougher, but like the game is always changing and the meta is always changing, so you can always learn different things. You can always watch demos and learn a new flash, a new nade, a new strategy. There's always something to learn, but
When you heard about the game and when you decided that you wanted to become a Valorant pro, how important was it for you to become the first one? Or was that even a care to you?
honestly that wasn't a care to me at all. I wasn't really thinking about that. I just, T1 reached out and it just seemed like a really good fit and it made sense. So, you know,
And you haven't had the chance.
yeah, the game actually looks really good. I'm excited to play it. There's some things like some abilities that, I might be questioning, but at the same time, I haven't played it, so I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm not really gonna judge it until I do play it. So,
What was your initial thoughts on some of the abilities? Like there were wall hacks, there was heals, there were some interesting abilities in there. What were some of your initial opinions on the abilities that you saw?
yeah, so like the wall hack kind of looks suspect. I'm not too sure how I feel about it, and obviously the game can still change. There is still in beta, so anything can change, and nothing's final. But I'm confident in the developers behind them. I know Volcano personally, and
Hmm.
he's from CS:GO. So I'm confident that it's gonna be a good game, and I'm just ready to get my hands on it, honestly.
What about let's talk about the success of Valorant. Let's just foreshadow a little bit here, right? Like Valorant created by Riot Games. Riot Games very well known for League of Legends. League of Legends is very successful. How much of a success, given that Riot Games is behind this, do you think that this game is going to be?
I mean, it's their only FPS title, so honestly, I think the game will be huge, and I think they will put a lot of money in. I think they're gonna do a lot to make it successful, and I'm not sure if they'll come out with a league or LCS type thing, but I'm sure they have big plans for it. Honestly, I'm not too sure. I'm sure they have plans for what they want to do, and I'm sure it'll work out for the best. I think something like LCS type thing could be really cool, and I think it could work out. But at the same time, the way Valve does it, I think is also cool. They give more freedom to tournament.
What happens if the game is not a success? Like, do you continue on with T1? Would you just keep creating content? What would that relationship look like if Valorant doesn't do well as an esport?
I'm sure I would still just make content for them, whether it be CS:GO or Valorant. Um, but yeah, we definitely would still continue.
Okay, so it's not contingent on Valorant being a success or something like that, is I guess what I'm getting
Correct,
at.
correct.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you definitely have a good, strong relationship with T1,
Right,
which
right.
is a great start. Let's get these are some questions from Twitter. Abraham said, how are big orgs signing players for professional contracts, and they even put character they're going to main when the games isn't even out yet? This is a genuine question.
I think it's more so the fact that T1 just recognized my talents early on, and that's something I'm really.
Who are you? This one is from Journey Yates. Who are you hoping for as potential Valorant teammates? Has there been any conversations about possibly bringing in other Valorant pros to T1?
Obviously, there's nothing set in stone. There's a few guys I have in mind, but obviously, I want to play with them.
Would you move to Korea to play professionally, or would you move at all, or do you want to stay?
I'm definitely open to it if the opportunity arises and it makes sense. I'm all for it.
Okay. Um, how? I know you said you haven't played the game yet, but how much time would you want to grind the game and familiarize yourself with the game before you start competing?
I assume there's gonna be a pretty big gap from when the game starts and before the tournament start happening and like the.
Have you excelled in any other game other than Counter Strike? People like Shroud Ninja Dizzy have proven that they are talented in a variety of games and can transfer their talent. Maybe that's more of a content question. Like, will there be content plays for you outside of CS?
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. I have a YouTube channel. I stream on Twitch. I'm sure there will be a lot of opportunities for content. Even being on T1 and being able to make videos with guys like Faker and MKLeo.
Like, what would you say would be like game breaking abilities, like things that would not belong in a CS structured type FPS game that Valorant is?
Um, I would say something like being able to revive people. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Obviously the wall hacks. Um, it's hard to say though because obviously I haven't played the game, but this is all speculation. But I think those two things, I'm not, I don't feel too strongly about them, but at the same time, I want to play before I judge.
What have you heard from your peers about the game? Like, have you talked with anyone that either was part of the team or that was part of creating the game? Or you mentioned you know Volcano, so like, what have you heard about like the mechanics of the game and how fluid the game is? Like, is this all do you feel optimistic after hearing all this?
Um,
So we're still a ways away from Valorant releasing, and you haven't had a chance to. You won't have a chance to play yet, presumably for a while. So, what will your content schedule look like until then? Are you creating content every day? Do you stream? Like, what is your content with T1 look like up until the point you get Valorant from today?
right. So Starting probably Thursday or Friday, I will begin streaming probably every day, but I will just be streaming CS:GO.
So now that you've closed the chapter on your CS:GO career, how do you look back on it?
Um, Closing chapter. I'm definitely happy with my career, I guess. Obviously, I've made mistakes and stuff, but I continue to learn from them, and I just use them as lessons, and I'm definitely happy with where I'm at right now.
You feel like a better player and a better point in your career today than you did, say, even a year ago?
Oh, for sure, definitely.
And you feel in a much better place as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. I felt just stuck, I guess, in a way.
If you do you think that Valorant were to have a market like the Steam market for CS:GO, will it make the game more successful in the long term?
I don't see how it could hurt. I think it could probably benefit more than anything.
Have you heard any official release date? Anything? I mean, maybe you can't tell us, but
No, no, I have not heard anything.
it, I'm hoping that we can maybe summer 2020 would be a good guess.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
prime time right now, honestly.
What do you have to say to them and your upcoming Valorant career?
Yeah, just thank you guys for supporting me. Uh, I hope to make you guys proud, and